Okay, boom, day 6, Jonathan Fibonojji, the top 25 verses that have meant the most to me, or kind of my top 25. I got this idea from Joyce Meyer, one of my favorite pastors. There you go. Jonathan Fibonojji, that is a Jonathan Livingston Seagull out there in beautiful La Jolla area. I've been doing this road trip for 2.5 years, 3 years. I decided to kind of start a YouTube channel, talk about things that are important to me. Jonathan Fibonojji, boom, there you go. Look at that. Man, I wonder what it's... Okay, so here you go. I'm out here in... I now presently live... I'm making this video January 19th from Durango, Colorado. And the irony is that we're having an unseasonably warm winter. I think the talk around the town is that in the last 37 years, there has not been a summer as warm as this one. So day 6 of, there you go. Okay, now anybody who follows the channel knows Artism Matters, Jonathan Fibonojji. And my art is I use words. There you go. I'm a comic, I'm a photographer. I also love the Word of God. And I heard Joyce Meyer say this, and she was talking about and I just admire her ministry so much. And she said, one day I'm going to get around to making a series on the top 25, or she said top 20 verses that she really loves. And if you know anything about Joyce Meyer, it's the Word of God. It's all about the Word of God. And then we can go to John 15 and we can learn about the importance of the Word of God. And, the Word of God says that whenever the Word is spoken, that it has an effect. In fact, the actual Hebrew word, and I don't know the original Hebrew word, but there's a passage in the Bible that says that it is impossible for the Word of God to have no effect. And there's a few things that God really, really cares about. He cares about His Word. He cares about His name, Jehovah King, and there's all different aspects of His sovereignty. And in no way will Jonathan Fibonojji, just a dude from Oklahoma, a wonderful dude, Fibonojji, was born Jonathan Spears, then I became Jonathan Malik. Well, I might have gone by John Malik, and then for about 10 years I was JM, Jonathan Matthew Malik, and then boom, back to Spears. Then I went back to Texas, and then Oklahoma. I was kind of a foster kid, boom, boom, back and forth. There you go, Jonathan Fibonojji. In fact, I was named after this book. So if you would like me to come speak to your organization or your church, I would just say, well, go read this book here. And if you like that character, then boom. I'd love to come speak to your organization, your church, your school, your college. I spent 10 years in finance, and one of the things that I did for those 10 years is I practiced a morning meditation. And Psalms 57 became my kind of my morning nectar forever. And I always read it in the Amplified version, and then I recently bought this NIV, and then now I'm kind of getting into Tyndale. That's a beautiful, beautiful passage, or the Tyndale Bible. I wish I would have found it earlier. A friend of mine dropped it off for me and just kind of gave it to me as just being cool. It's one reason why I love Durango, Colorado. So day 6, there you go. That's me out there in San Francisco area. Boom. Thank you for taking this journey with me. I guess we'll close out with some Tyndale. I don't like the number 6. I'm trying to do all these videos, trying to make it good, trying to honor the Word of God. Fibonojji Hala. Boom. Maybe I should make that like a postcard. I just kind of mail that to different organizations and said, listen, we need to speak about faith in businesses. We need to speak about faith in churches again. We need to start discussing old school themes that the Bible talks about. Places like heaven and hell. And who's having that discussion? Maybe I can say something on this video, YouTube channel, that can resonate with you, that could bless you. So I'm copying Joyce Meyer for a while, and I'm going to be like, all right, John Fibonojji, give us your top 25. Well, if you want this video, go watch this video. I was walking up here to Manna Mountain. That's its own story. Manna Mountain is a beautiful place out here in Durango. It's kind of coming under attack because one of the things about beautiful Colorado towns is that they're really built upon tourism. In fact, 26% of Durango's economy, 26% according to the Durango Herald economy, is supported by tourism. Well, what happens when you have a very unseasonably warm or no snow? Like I took this the first year I was here. That luscious snow out there in Purgatory, that was 3 years ago. Now it's about probably 55 degrees. Well, there's a reason why Sacred Heart was built Manna, because they knew that these economies out here are very difficult, and they always wanted to make sure that sheep were fed and feed my sheep. And that was the discussion that Jesus was trying to have, and Sacred Heart had it, and Manna churches. We need to start discussing old school stuff again. So day 6, like I said, these videos, sometimes they come together, sometimes they don't. I don't always promise to be the best video editor, even though I'm the best photographer. I love to go out to San Francisco and do some Dorothea Lange type. I love to go to like inner cities with my photography and show people what's really happening in these cities, and how what's happening in Durango is a very white version of what's happening in Los Angeles and Detroit. In Washington, D.C., our capital. In fact, our capital should be the model city. Well, maybe it is. And who's having that discussion? And feed my sheep from Durango, Colorado. I was walking up here Manna Mountain because Jesus gave me manna, gave many ravens manna. And this was just laying in the road. In fact, you might be able to see tire treads, but this is just kind of hanging out. Somebody on the 5th. Those are some beautiful numbers. I just picked this up and it said forgiveness. And you know how I've been watching a lot of near-death experiences on YouTube. It's kind of a genre of YouTube, what do you want to call it, an art form? I don't know, genre of television, near-death experiences where people will go to the other side, good and bad, and they all talk about the power and the need of forgiveness. So who are you forgiving? Now remember, whether you like Psalms 57, whether you like Psalms 37 or 23, or maybe you're like Fibonojji and you just don't like the number 6, I don't know. But today on day 6, I want to say the Bible is true. And forgiveness will keep you out of heaven. And we have to pray for our enemies. And bless those who persecute us. And that was the Christ way. In forgiving our enemies. And even forgiving our brothers. And blessing those that persecute us. So thank you for taking this journey with me. Tomorrow, day 7, we're on to some better numbers. Email me your thoughts, americano417@gmail.com. Boom. Psalm 57. Man, you can never go wrong with Psalms 57 in the Amplified. Holla. Thank you for taking this journey with me.